Hey, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We have a special guest tonight, and I am so excited. I invited my boyfriend out today. Don't tell my husband. He's going to be live today with Miss Council. So thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to have an interesting topic tonight, and so we thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Thank you for joining.
Well, thank you for inviting me back, everybody. I remember that I was here for the kickoff, and I guess I did such a great job. She allowed me to come back and be a part of her show. So I am excited to be a part of the Miss Council Knows program, and today you are in for a treat. So sit back and just get your thinking caps going because we're going to intrigue, but we're also going to educate. So.
Ooh, all right. I see my brother and my sister are on. Thanks so much for joining. We got the councils on with us tonight. That's a real last name, y'all. That's my daddy name. So thanks so much for joining. Hey sis, hey bro. And y'all, I'm fanning. That's what it is. I'm hot. I'm hot girl. Don't know what you call that. But thanks so much for joining us once again here on the Miss Council Show. That's why I should call it the show. I call it the show. That's what I normally call it is a show. So it's the show.
Whatever you call it, I'm just add it. I'm like the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? So
yes. Well, you good icing. All icing ain't good icing.
No, that blue ice.
That blue ice is nasty. That purple kind. Yeah. But anyway, shout out to the cake bakers out there who making the cake from scratch. Hey girl, hey, thanks for joining, y'all. If y'all are popping in those little bubbles, I can't really see y'all. I had to move the camera back a little bit further so I could have my boo thing in with. Oh, hey, SB, thanks for joining. That's Vanessa.
Oh, I know who it is.
Okay. Say hey, y'all. Listen, last time we were on last week, we talked about a thin line between love and hate. And you know what? Yeah, that one was serious right there. That was a serious one. We talked about the movie and the song. And one of our fans said, you know what? I did not know that it was the Persuader. Said they didn't know. I was wondering why y'all was so quiet when I asked the question. I'm like, who was the originator? And one of my brothers was like, it's H-Town. Not them. It wasn't. No, the people who originally sang was the Persuader. So we learned together. But we talked about love and hate being similar emotions that come from the same places. So the energy that you put behind hating somebody is the same energy you can put behind loving somebody. So you got to pick and choose where you spend your energy. And as I grew up, I was taught hate was such a strong word, and we didn't say that word. You might get
taboo. You don't use that word. No. Don't use that word.
Oh, I thought you said get tagged.
I don't care where you're from. You don't use that word. I don't care how much you got. You don't use that word.
Don't use that word. No, sit down. No. See, we were raised in different households. Hey, Toya, thanks for joining. So, I gave some tips on that. How to use your energy in a positive manner. You got to be able to do that so that you're not spending your energy hating somebody when you could be loving somebody. If that's what you want.
You're right. And you use more muscles, facial muscles to frown and hold that little groan like that versus a smile. And you never know. You just kind of cheered up somebody's life and everything with that smile. So
you just never. Well, y'all know who I am. I am Miss Council, and I'm a relationship coach and a life coach, and I help women who are divorced get their lives back after divorce, and women who are remarried have more successful second, third, fourth, whatever marriages. I ain't judging. I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to have some love. And so y'all know I'm on my second marriage with my boyfriend over here, boo thing, bae, husband, manager, all of those things. And so I'm so happy to have him join us tonight. We're talking about the secrets and lies about marriage. Y'all, listen, can I just start off by saying, first of all, please go to my website, MissCouncilKnows.com. That is KNOWS, MissCouncilKnows.com, and check me out, y'all. My brand new website launched just about a month or so ago. And also, please make sure that you go and check out our group, Divorced Like Us. It is for women only who are divorced and remarried. So now that I've gotten my PSAs out of the way, marriage. See, growing up, it was sold to me as a woman as, fairy tale. You go to school, you go to college, you graduate, you get married, you have a baby, and happiness. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's how I thought it went. What did you think? What did you grow up with?
I'm going to say this. I think that where you are raised and how you was raised may be a little different interpretation to it. I think for me, when I was raised, you're supposed to be married and everything. As a male, you're supposed to be that provider. You're supposed to, show that tough love. You're supposed to be able to leap high bound buildings and make sure that you come back and do it all over again type thing. But we missed some of the in-betweens between an effectiveness of a wife and a husband. And we're here tonight to kind of bring some of that to light. So, the lies and secrets, and oh yes, those secrets in marriage. So, Ms. Counsel, what we got?
So first of all, let me give a shout out because we've got some people on with us who have been married for a really long time. We've got Vanessa. We've also gotten Helen on here. So we got the experts and we got the people with the experience on here.
Yes,
so
yes.
Listen, we like to interact with our audience. We want to hear from you. Please type in the chat. Please like. Hit those thumbs up, hit those hearts, so we know that you're here. If you like something that we say, if you want to argue with us,
put it in there. Post the questions.
Post those questions. Hey, post those statements because we're going to be reading them out live here tonight. So here go the first lie. You know how when you get married, and we got some newlyweds in here as well. When you get married, people always come to you and say, "How's married life treating you?"
Oh man, yeah, I remember that. That's like the ultimate question after you get married.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Did they ask you that?
Yeah,
somebody came to you.
Your boy's gonna ask you, man. So is it still the same? Or has it changed? I know it changed because you put a ring on. I told you shouldn't. You can't marry the cow. You gotta keep the cow. You already got the milk. You already got the milk. So why you gonna buy the cow? You know what I'm saying? But like I always tell, the responses that I give and the response that you have to look at is that nothing changes. Nothing changes. If you are still in what I like to call that first date mode, and you might be married 20, 30 years, you still in that first date mode, nothing changes because you're still the true person that you were from day one with that person.
Ooh.
Now
Did you say the true person that
true
you
person.
were? Because that would mean that you came, not the representative.
Oh, alter ego.
So if your alter ego showed up on your first date and you are, I don't know, if you're the man, you're buying the flowers, you're opening doors, you laying down a jacket over a puddle.
Yeah, doing all that. No, you're not. You don't mean to do that. You're just trying to wine a diner and know what else after that. So
y'all heard it here.
Because
that's the representative. Or ladies, you wearing the stilettos, knowing your feet hurt.
Yep.
You wearing the stilettos. You got your hair done, your makeup professionally done, and you are speaking the King's English. You don't have any drama in your life. Oh no, me and all of my children's fathers, we have great relationships.
You a catch.
Yeah.
Until we throw your butt back and we find out who you are.
Until they find out who you are. And then it starts on those lies unfolding. So nothing has to change. But if you didn't present who you were to start with, are you really getting with somebody that you really know?
Are you really giving that person a fair opportunity to fall in love with you?
See, we done delved into something else.
See, and that's what it's about. That question about, so how's the marriage? It only lends itself when one or both are not being true or have presented themselves in a true character, in a true self, and truly allowing the other person to fall in love with you.
But you have to present who you really are. So if you over here presenting whoever your alter ego is to people, then how can they really get to know you? We have a comment here. Vanessa says, I believe as you grow within, there is change. Ooh. There is. Oh, see, there go that wisdom right there.
Vanessa, you are so true. And I think that a lot of times, and I'm going to speak of experience, because as Ms. Counsel has stated, this is my second marriage. This is both our second marriage. And so often in a relationship, you should grow. You're not the same person that you were in your 20s, nor your 30s, or your 40s or 50s. So for you to sit here and lie to yourself and to your mate saying you're the same person, you're not. So you have to grow. Where the problem comes is when one person becomes stagnant. They become supplanted. They become used to the routine, and they don't want to see the growth in the relationship. They don't want to see their other partner grow because they're scared that if they grow, they're going to leave them.
You know what? And this lends to Vanessa's second comment. She says, I got married at 22 and I am not the same person. I have grown and I now appreciate the man that I have. You know, and that's what I think you're saying is that you should be growing in a positive direction together. There are growing pains in your learning about each other and learning how you mesh together. So you're growing in the right direction rather than growing apart. And so there are things that change, but they should be changing for the better. I think when that lie that was told was that something changes when you get married. No, it doesn't change as far as the relationship goes. So it shouldn't be, other than your last name, you have some on your finger and your address.
I was about to say your mailing address.
Your mailing address. You might have to put in a change of address form or something like that. But why does the relationship have to change if you've already set that foundation and laid out what the relationship is going to be? You know, I always talk about write it down. You have to have rules of engagement, rules for your relationship and how you communicate. When things ain't going so well, how do you communicate? Do we got to talk about it now? You know, about raising your voice, about walking away. There are certain things that people just have to address. And if you talk about it and you come to a common ground, you can say, you know, remember we said we weren't going to yell at each other. Do you need a moment? Or I need a moment to walk away so I can catch my breath and get my attitude together so that I can have a conversation with you. So whatever that conversation needs to be,
that helps with the continuity of just having a relationship. So it's not so much of what it was when you were dating or when you were engaged to the transition to marriage. It's the transition or the continuity of just being in that relationship.
It
is what it is. So that lie of did it change after you got married? The secret is,
hey, you got to do a whole lot of things. You got to keep on dating.
That's it.
You got to keep dating. You got to keep loving. You got to keep learning about your person, your one. That's just like Vanessa said. You know, she grew to love the appreciate. That's the word. I had to go back. She grew to appreciate the man that she had. You know, sometimes. I'm sure she appreciated him in the beginning, but you grow to appreciate them even more, you know, as you have children together and see him take care of his family and to see him be the man and to handle business and to make the tough decisions and to carry the weight. You know, you grow and you appreciate that even more. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, my men, my homeboys out there. One thing I'm going to say to you is that sometimes we got to move out of our own way. We have to, in order to love the person that's in front of us. And when you do that, then you're going to see that happening. So the lie of did it change once you got married? No. The secret is just keep it real. Keep loving the person.
That's right.
And you're going to see the fruits of your labor and the fruits of that love that's flourished throughout the relationship. So that's our first.
That's number one
right there.
And I want to read this comment from Rosa. She's a single person, and Rosa always joins us every week. And she says, as a single person, I've decided to present my true self, but I don't get the second date. How do you manage your representative and your true self while dating?
So let me answer that right there.
Oh, you got it.
So let me just say this: if you're being real with yourself, you're being true to the person. You don't need that person in. If they're going to walk away from your realness and who you are, and you're presenting in a respectful way, and they don't come back for the second date, bye. It wasn't meant to. Trust. Our first date, I put it out there. Our first conversation, I put it out there, and I put it out there in tidbits. I didn't run away, but I was trying something different. I was like, listen, I don't have nothing to lose. You know, and when you don't have nothing to lose, sometimes you become desperate. You're like, I'm going to try this. And I put it out there. And I know she was hesitant some of the things I said, but I was being real with her because I wanted her to make that decision.
And, you know, that's something that I appreciated because of the fact that he was an open book. I was like, you know what? This man can't be lying because nobody tells the whole story about themselves. And you want to know, how did I know the story was true? Because he was telling me bad stuff about him
Yeah.
and about his past. And you know what? We all have a past. And, you know, they say people in in glass houses don't throw stones. So, you know, you can open your door and let your skeletons fall out if you feel like you're perfect, because nobody's walking this earth's surface is perfect. But yeah, he just laid it all out there. He was like, I'm just telling you about my past. So that's appreciated, because so many times in dating in the past, people were not honest with me. Look, I was looking for a man who was ambitious. He was trying to be a mover and shaker. You know, he had a career or was building, you know, working his way up whatever ladder he wanted to. And so I had a lot of fakers, a lot of imposters that tried to come through and present themselves in a certain type of way. But as the onion started peeling back those layers, I was like, wait a minute. Let me see that resume again. I remember you said this, but those things were not true. But not even in just that, you know, and people presenting their representative and trying to pretend to be something that they're not so that you like them. You know, this ain't elementary school. You ain't trying to get a Valentine.
No.
So Helen gives some good advice to Rosa. She said, it wasn't for you. And looking back, you probably can count them as blessings. Hallelujah.
True.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Let's go with the next lie. Let's see what we got.
So the next lie. Marriage is 50-50. Now listen, y'all know I always say that marriage ain't 50-50. Divorce is. Marriage is 100, okay? 100. I'm going to let you, because you know I can talk.
I look at it as a math problem. You know what I'm saying? As a math problem. I like math. You know what I'm saying? So if you're coming into a relationship, into a marriage, and one is giving 100 and the other one's giving 0, and 2 divided by 100 gives us 50. You're losing. You got to go into it all in, 100. But you got to go in 100 with a game plan. Communicating, dialoguing, discussing, post-checking, going through. Babe, how you think about this? What you think about that? I don't know about that, babe, but you know, I think about that. When you're both in it and now you're building off the strengths of both parties, you know, I'm building off her strength, she's building off my strength, she's building up my weakness, I'm building up her weakness and everything. We could conquer the world together. You know, and I think a lot of times relationships, couples in relationships, they begin to kind of have that friction or they fighting against each other. You know, not in a physical sense or not even raising our voice and everything, but I think sometimes we're in a relationship, we don't get as far as we can because we're not working together. That could be in accomplishing a goal. You all could set forth a financial goal, or you could set forth to have this goal to save money for a house, or to save money for your child's college fund and everything. But if you're not working together, if you're not finding those ways that we can sit at the table and truly come up with a game plan that is equitable to support, but we're both in it 100, then you're going to have this friction.
You're right. You're right. You're going to butt heads. And we have a comment from Vanessa. She says, why give it all and you may not be interested in that person? Individuals may not be ready to receive. I absolutely agree with you. And so that's why you go through the dating phase. Hey, don't get married on the first date. Give it some time. I always say people need to flip that calendar. Yeah. Give it some seasons. Let's go through hurricane season. Let's get through the fall. Let's see the eclipse of the moon, something. Give it some time so that you can get to know the person. Because like you said, Vanessa, some people may not be ready to receive. And you know what? You need to keep on walking by. Anybody, I'm talking to the single people, keep on walking. It may be hard. Like, I like so many things about that person, but you know what? People show you exactly who they are. And we're not saying anything new. People show you exactly who they are. And like he says, their true selves. They show you their true selves, but yet still I've done it. Still like, oh, they're such a nice person. And they know, they like Bible study and, but we're settling. We're settling for people, and like Vanessa says, the people who are here are not ready to receive. So it doesn't matter how much you throw at it, how good you are to that person, they're never going to reciprocate. And they're showing you by not reciprocating the love. However it is that you receive love, they're not reciprocating that. That's because they're not ready for you.
They can't match that yoke. They can't match it. They just can't match your desire nor your fire.
They can't match your desire or your fire. There y'all go. That's free stuff. So that was good. That homeboy.
Appreciate you.
That you did that.
That's all I got.
Can't match desire or the fire. All right. So let's go to the next lie. And I say it's a lie because they say that opposites attract. That's my personal opinion. I'm a Virgo and he's a Gemini. They say a whole lot of things about Geminis, and I do understand. I do, not study, but I do know information about the astrological signs. And, hey, I got a brother that's a Gemini. Also, I know a few Geminis. But I think that people are individuals and they are who they are. They, have certain little things about them that they kind of pick up. It depends on how they're raised and what their influences are. But opposites. I'll say that we are opposites in a lot of things. He likes sports. I tolerate sports. He likes to watch HGTV. Again, I tolerate it. I like reality TV and Tyler Perry shows. He ain't gonna watch it with me. That's why we got more TVs than one in the house. But it's not just about what we watch, but it's things we're interested in. I love paint night. It wasn't something he was interested in, but guess what? He ended up getting interested in those things and doing those things, and not just looking like he was a tortured soul doing them. But he went and he learned, he kind of enjoyed it a little bit. I was even, since we've been quarantined, been able to have a family paint night. And he almost looked like he enjoyed it. For the first hour, then he was like, all right, I'm done. Let me finish this thing. Let me finish this thing on up. But you have to find some common interest. And you started talking about being equally yoked. So let's talk about that a little bit. We always hear that in church about being equally yoked spiritually, but you have to be equally yoked in so many different ways so that you kind of match up. And if you match up with that person, what you were just talking about with people butting heads and not getting along, equally yoked in, let's just talk about finances. I'm not saying everybody has to make the same amount of money. One person might make $80,000, the other person might make $30,000. But guess what? Together, that's $110,000 that y'all bringing in together. But you have to be able to work together. Now, we have this conversation all the time. Our finances are combined. We know several couples who don't have their finances combined. You do what works for you. We do what makes sense for us. So if you're working together and having financial goals, you got to be on the same field, because this one right here, I think I told y'all before how he slick was like, oh, let me help you with your credit. You're working on paying off some things. Let me help you out. He was like, here, write down all of the accounts that you have, like how much you owe, what's the APR, and all this. I was like, okay, he gonna help me out, y'all, and created me a whole plan. No, he wanted to see what was on my credit.
Yeah, we created the plan too, so. But
I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention. I was accepting the help because he knew what he was doing. But also with our future, because hey, he's 7 years to retirement and he's on countdown. If he had a calendar where he could mark off each day and tear off a page, he would. But that's the thing about it, is because I got with the plan, y'all. I was like, okay, what's our plan? What do I need to do? Let me get with the plan, because guess what? He's not going to retire in 7 years and I'm going to work 10 more after that. But you have to work together on whatever your goals are. Even if you have separate accounts, even if it's you pay this in the household, you have to do what works for you. But we know couples who do things differently, but they make it work. But they had a conversation and they made a decision. Both of y'all ain't looking at this water bill on the table and like, ooh, somebody got to pay this water bill. It's got to get paid, right? So you got to have those conversations so that you can work together. And so that's when we're talking about equally yoked. That's kind of what my thoughts are, being on the same playing field. I mean, on the same mindset, or having an agreement on certain things, being able to work together, even if it's not your favorite thing, even if it's not your plan. Hey, originally, I don't know what my retirement plan was. I don't know what it was, but I was like, let me get on board. Let me get on the bus so I can make sure that I do my part in that. And so he manages our finances and he makes sure that we are saving, we're investing. And so I do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm aligned with that. But I also know what's coming in and out of our accounts. And I am involved in those conversations when he's making decisions on where to invest. I'm a part of that conversation because it's a us thing. It's a we. It's not a him making the decision and me looking up like, well, what's going on? What happened? Where's our money? You invested $8,000. You know, so I know what's going on, and it's important to have those conversations. Even if, ladies, even if you don't want to have those conversations, even if you don't want to hear about it, it's your future. You got to participate in it.
Hey, sound good to me.
I did all right.
Did all right to me. All right.
Here's the next lie. Now, fourth and final. More money, more problems. So we already started talking about money, and one person making more money than the other one. You want to talk about that one, honey?
More money, more problems. That depends on the communication and what you all have established. I think that you all have already realized that there's an underlying theme to successful relationships, and that's that ability to communicate, that ability to have that healthy dialogue, to express your desires to what's going on in a respectful manner to your mate. When you're sitting back and you're not truly expressing how you feel, and you're hoping and you're wishing that the person would change, or that if I become passive aggressive, or if I don't wash the dishes, then they'll realize I don't have to wash dishes all the time. Or if I go on strike from cooking, that means that they need to cook then. People don't read between the lines like that. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a dude. We don't read between the lines. Most females don't read between the lines. But what we do read, but do understand, is being upfront and transparent. More money, more lies. Not the actual textual of having more money and earning more money, but it's more of when you become more in depth into your relationship and everything, and you're not communicating, and when you're not being forthright, when you're not truly expressing how you feel, and you're holding that back. It starts from day one of the relationships. You know what I'm saying? I have a strict diet. If I would have not expressed that diet, and I would have just been, trying to indulge in what this person indulges in, then I'll be sick right now. And she'd have been looking at me years later like, what's wrong? But you have to be upfront. I know that's minor.
Right. But why did you tell me you didn't eat pork?
So you gotta be upfront with the person so that they know where you're coming from. And it's going to make the relationship so much easier. It's going to make it so much, your relationship should be fun. You should have laughter throughout. And I'm not saying you don't laugh, you're not going to laugh every day, because there are outside factors that dwells on each of you individually. Mm-hmm. But you should smile when you see your mate. Your mate should be able to lift you up. So whatever those problems may be, that's stacking, the number one thing should not be your mate. It shouldn't be your spouse. It shouldn't be that person in your relationship. They should be the one that's there lifting you up, because you all are in tuned with each other of what's going on, because you're both riding that wave together. You're communicating, you're sharing. So more money, more problems, more friends, more problems, more debt, more problems, more kids, more problems. The problems are not going to become systematic because of your relationship, because your relationship is going to be the saving grace to it, because you're communicating and you're looking towards that person as your rock, your ace, your tail, those Greek terms. But
wait a minute.
I know, but that's what it is right there. So so when you start to look at the person across the table as an enemy, that's your problem. But when you look at the person across the table and you say, babe, look, I need a little support. I need some help. What about this? What do you think? How can we get out of this? Then that's your ally. And that's what you have to look at right there.
Working together is going to always be the answer. Learning how to communicate with each other is going to be a big thing. And you know what Rosa said, should you communicate a chronic illness early? Yes.
Yes.
Any comorbidities?
Yes. Be honest, be upfront.
I don't care what it is. If you flat-footed, I'm just saying, tell somebody you ain't got no arteries. You ain't finna be going hiking up Stone Mountain nowhere. But be honest and be open, because listen, I dated somebody in the past that his A1C was high, and his doctor gave him medication. You better not laugh. His doctor gave him medication and he wouldn't take it. And so I found out, because I went to the hospital with him, all these chest pains, he had pneumonia. And the doctor was like, you're diabetic, right? And he was like, well, I don't believe it. He said something like the devil is a lie or something like that. Something like that. He's like, but your A1C says that you are a diabetic. And I'm over here like,
They didn't even know.
like, dude. And so I'm standing behind him, the doctor looking over his shoulder, looking at me like, and we looking at each other like, what? Like, you mean to tell me that your doctor gave you medication that will save your life in the long run and you ain't taking it because the devil is a liar? Okay. But communicating that information is important because just like my husband was very candid in sharing his backstory, it gives you the opportunity to know the story and make a choice, know the information and make a choice. What if somebody has some, like you said, a chronic illness, and it may be something like, hey, somebody got a brain tumor and they don't tell you that, and you over here living and loving them, and then you got to plan their funeral. Had you known that, you may not have wanted to get involved, or you may have wanted to be friends with them. Give you the option. So it's always very important to be upfront with people. If you done filed for bankruptcy or something like that, at some point in time you need to tell that person, because your finances are going to be together at some point in time. Whether y'all have separate accounts or not, if you're trying to further that relationship, it is going to matter at some point in time. At some point in time, you may get past the dating phase and say, you know what, we want to live together. We want to get married. And then you want to, let me check this out. I ain't going to be able to help you get no house.
Cause my credit is shot.
Yeah, I got
bankruptcy,
repos,
evictions. I use my kids' credit. I messed their credit up.
Yeah.
So this is what we gonna do. You stuck.
You stuck. And then Helen says, check the medical and mental history. Oh, she
DNA
said it's
hereditary.
it's hereditary. It is. So we need to begin a history and physical. But yes, sir, fill this out right here. Please answer these questions. Hey, you might need to ask those questions that are gonna help you feel comfortable, but also getting to know more about a person. But know that while you asking questions, you're gonna get asked the same questions. So be prepared to answer. And, give people the grace that you expect. You can't be over here, because obesity is a pre-existing condition as well. So don't have expectations from other people that you don't have for yourself. You don't want nobody to treat you like that. You can't be over here, be a diabetic and mad because they got high blood pressure. Like, both of us taking pills. Both of us taking pills. We both need to get out here and run this track together. It doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with them, but we're just saying get the information so that you're not surprised later on that that this stuff is popping off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, Latricia. She says, what about criminal history? Y'all better ask. Listen, I had started carding folks, and this one dude got mad with me and my silly behind years ago. Let it go. Y'all, come to find out, this joker was 10 years older than he said that he was when I finally did see the license. Not that it would have mattered, but what you lying for? What else you lying about? So
do your due diligence. You know what your comfort level is and what you're gonna accept. That's bottom line. You know what I'm saying? That's in anything. The qualities from the person, their attributions to the relationship. You know what you're going to accept.
Mm-hmm.
So if and just being honest with yourself, if you know that you need somebody who is at the same health level that you are, that's where you are. If you know you want somebody who's at the same status as far as financially, that's what you want. That's not being shallow. That's just being real. Because at the end, if you settle for something less, at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy. But if you truly accept the person for who they are and you fall in love with that person for who they are, no matter what, then it's gonna go. So it's up to you. It's up to the individual. And that's what it's all about. Just being real with yourself, keeping your mate intrigued and engaged in a relationship.
That's right.
So it's a lot. So, I don't want anybody thinking that, you have to be timid in expressing what you want. I always use the word of being respectful and expressing who you're looking for to mate, what your love language is, what it takes to fill your love tank, what you'll do to fill someone else's love tank, and vice versa, having those conversations and really being forthright with that. That's a good
Right.
question.
And like Helen said, the first date will save you if you ask the right questions. You know what? I didn't let them get to the first date. I used to ask all these questions, get to the first date, and then it was like, I don't really like this person. Remember I talked about the automatic out? You need to have an automatic out. Like, you need to be able to raise a card like, like, check please.
Yeah.
Let me order this water. Let me drink this water for a second. Let me drink this water for a second until, I see if we're going to get to the next phase. But I'm just saying, give it some time, have some conversations, ask the questions, because guess what? This is your life. This is your life. Do you really want to hook yourself to somebody that you don't want to be with long term? I mean, you got to ask yourself, like my husband said, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Remember, I've talked about that in past videos. You've got to know what you want. It's like going to the grocery store. I'm like, I got to figure out something for dinner. I don't never go to the grocery store without a list. Now, I might get distracted by, BOGOs or 10 for 10s, but I know what I'm there for. And I have a list and I'm following that list, but I might get a couple of extra things that are on that list. But you know what it is that you're looking for. And when you see something that you don't want, stop around, because guess what? He or she might be great for the next person. True. Don't waste their time trying to make good off the 3 things off your list of 10. Like, well, they got teeth, they stand straight up, and they look at me straight in the eye. That's 10. That's 3 out of 10. I'm gonna just stay with them.
That ain't gonna work.
That does not make a long-term relationship.
Let them go be great for somebody else.
Let him go be great. Ladies, let him go and be great. Stop holding on to him. Men, same thing. So all of those things are important. Let's see. Helen says, don't settle. You're saying a mouthful. Latricia says, I don't think people ask enough questions or wait long enough to see who they are really dating. Absolutely. There are red flags out there. I did a whole video on it. There are red flags. I already told you. I laid it out. The red flags.
Ignore them. You just ignore them.
Hey, and what do you do once you're with somebody and the red flags start popping off? Because sometimes it's some good actors out there. Oh, it's some good actors.
That's true. True.
Yeah.
And when you have those moments, just as you stated in your previous recordings, lives and everything, you got to go to them and just communicate. Be upfront.
But that's so hard. Let's talk about that. It's hard to say. For me, it was hard.
It's hard. It's harder at the end when the judge is asking you, do you want this divorce? It's harder when you're trying to divide up that 50-50 of the assets that you accumulated together. Mm-hmm. But it is hard to sit down in front of the person who you love and they love you back and to express how you feel. But the person will appreciate it because you'll grow. Just as Vanessa said earlier, you grow in a relationship. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You grow. And over time, things just, you take on a different outlook. Right. So you got to express that. You got to, say how you feel. Say it from the chest. You
got to.
And that's it.
Hey, and that's the parting message right there. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm Miss Counsel and I brought husband with me today.
And I thank you all for allowing me to spend a few minutes with you. I enjoy, I will be back behind the scenes, every once in a while I pop in. But
y'all know he behind the camera and stuff like that. So, pass me peppermints and tissue and water and stuff like that. So, he's always here, but he's not in front of the camera. So he wanted to join us today. I promise y'all I didn't force him. No. But he wanted to join us today, always imparting wisdom. That's why I like him. I'm gonna keep him, y'all. I like him a little bit. I like him a lot bit.
I ain't got enough.
I call him my boyfriend, but I married him. But thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you for the interaction and all of the comments, the questions. We absolutely love it. We want to hear your feedback from this video. And hey, if you have more topics that you want to hear from the men, ladies, I got a whole man over here. If y'all got questions, we got answers. He has answers because he'll shoot it straight. And then also I got brothers too. I'll drag them into this. Oh, that would be interesting. 2 brothers, 2 different point of views. But thank you all so much for joining us again. I am Miss Counsel, and I ain't telling you what I heard, but I'm telling you what I know. It's Miss Counsel with husband over here today. Check my website out, MissCounselKnows.com. And also, please join my Facebook group, Divorced Like Us. It is for married, remarried, and divorced women only. Thank you so much for joining us, for watching. Peace and blessings.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank y'all.